Hello there. Happy Labor Day. I don't know if that's a thing that you wish people necessarily, but here we are. It's Monday. It's holiday Monday, but I'm still working because it's what I do. And also, I was unaware that it was a long weekend until recently, like before today, but not really in time to make other plans. So here we are. Anyways, I'm working on the Labor Day. Today, I want to chat with you about business bank accounts. It's one of the things that comes up quite a bit with small business owners who are just starting out. And it's the question that people have a lot of opinions about, like when is the right time to get a business bank account? And in the beginning, when you start your business, maybe you started as a side hustle and you're not really sure if it's going to be a business or not, or maybe you didn't intend for it to be a business. It was just something that you're selling products or services to just sort of cover the cost of doing it because you love doing it. And then the business gets a little bigger and maybe you're making more than you thought you would. Maybe you're now working in your business part-time, but and so you're cutting back your employed hours, or maybe you're not, you're just working two jobs. But when to get a business bank account is really important. And the short answer is as soon as possible. Getting a business bank account is a really easy way to streamline your bookkeeping and to just make running the business a little bit easier, believe it or not. Even though you're separating it from your personal account, which means you have another account you need to manage, and like you have money in two places, it actually makes it a lot easier to run the business because it's very, very clear what income and expenses are related to the business because it's not all lumped into one account, your personal account. It's also a really good idea from a tax perspective because even if you're only making a tiny bit of money, you're still supposed to declare it on your taxes. So you still need to fill out that form saying that you have business activities. And when you have expenses that go through an account that's a personal account, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to prove to the CRA that it was in fact a business account. I'm thinking about expenses specifically like meals, or if you're going for like office supplies, because we need pens in our house and whatever. And so when that kind of thing runs through your personal account, but it's meant for business, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's definitely not. Like if you run it through your personal account, you can still claim those expenses, but if you have to prove it to the CRA, it's just a little bit more complicated. So I recommend getting a business bank account as soon as possible, just to keep everything very separate. It doesn't necessarily need to be a business bank account with the bank. It could be another personal account as long as you're using your name as your business name. If you're using a name that's not your name as your business name, you're going to need a business bank account because if somebody writes you a check, for example, and it has the name of the business on it, you're not going to be able to deposit that into your bank account. Maybe don't take checks. I know checks are not as common as they once were, but something to think about. I started out in my business, with just an extra personal account. My business was my name, and so I just had a separate personal checking account that everything went through, and that worked really well for me in the beginning. I was able to transfer back and forth from my personal account and my business account because it was just all within the same profile in the bank. And because I was a sole proprietor at the time, it really didn't matter if I took money out of the company because I was the company and everything was going to be taxed on my personal taxes anyways. So that was a really easy way for me to keep things separate in the beginning. I also had a personal savings account that was used for business that I like to keep my taxes and HST aside in. So if you're a sole proprietor, you can get another personal account that's all in the same profile in your bank. So you're in your online banking, so you can see them all. It's only one login. I recommend doing that unless you do have a different name for your company and you need to be able to deposit checks, in which case you'll need the business bank account. If you're incorporated, you need to have a separate business bank account, and it needs to be a legit business account. The corporation is a separate legal entity, and so it needs to be very separate from you as an individual. And the bank won't allow you to open a personal account as a corporation because it's obviously like it can't be a person. It is a business. That's its one and only reason for existing is to be in business. So it will be a business account. This gets a little bit more tricky in terms of transferring money because it's not within the same profile in the bank. Even if you bank at the same bank, it's two separate like logins, but it's definitely still worth it, especially if you're incorporated, because it is a separate legal entity and it really does need its own separate banking. So short answer, as soon as possible, get yourself a separate bank account. I know that personal accounts are usually a lot cheaper. And I know in some cases you can have like an umbrella, like we're with BMO on the personal side, and we have this like umbrella account. I don't know what it's called, but we get like 25 different bank accounts or something like that. We don't have that many, but you can open that many under this umbrella, and it only costs like, I don't know, 15 bucks a month or something for all of these accounts, and it's unlimited or whatever. So that's how I just am like opened a second checking account, and it didn't cost me anything. So yeah, that's my advice for you on business bank accounts. Open one as soon as possible. If you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer them for you. I have also included a link to my free PDF, The 7 Accounting Mistakes Small Business Owners Make and Quick Fixes to Stay Out of Trouble. Business bank accounts is one of those, so get the other 6 for free. I left a link in the description. Accountingmistakes.ca is the URL for it. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you tomorrow.